What makes a good man do terrible things? Is it weakness, or something far more sinister whispering in his ear? Tonight, my dears, we follow Randall, an ordinary soul living an ordinary life, until the day the shadows began to speak. Sometimes the greatest evil isn't what we choose to do, but what chooses us. This is Whispers in the Dark, Episode 13, Blind Faith. Randall Morrison lived the kind of life that blended into backgrounds. 42 years old, insurance adjuster, quiet neighbor who nodded politely in hallways. He paid his bills on time, called his mother on Sundays, and had never so much as gotten a speeding ticket. Until they found him. It began with glimpses, dark figures hovering just outside his vision. When he turned to look, nothing. Empty sidewalks, vacant doorways. But in his peripheral sight, they lingered like smoke. Tuesday morning at Johnson & Johnson Insurance, Randall sat in his beige cubicle, reviewing claim forms for the Henderson fire damage case. The same routine he'd followed for 8 years. Janet Martinez appeared at his cubicle entrance, holding a Tupperware container. Sweet Janet, who remembered everyone's birthdays, who stayed late to help with difficult cases, who had never said an unkind word about anyone. "Morning, Randall. I brought those chocolate chip cookies I promised. Still warm from the oven."
Tell her she's worthless. Say it now.
His mouth moved before his mind could catch up. The words spilled out, venomous and cruel. Harsh, unlike himself. "Nobody wants your pathetic cookies, Janet. You're just a worthless waste of space trying to buy friendship." Janet stood there, shocked and hurt. "Randall, I was just trying to be nice." Randall, horrified about what he had done. I didn't mean. Why did I say that?"
Because you wanted to. We just gave you permission.
But he hadn't wanted to. Had he? The doubt crept in like ice water through his veins. The commands grew bolder over the following weeks. One night, he stopped at a bar for a drink to calm his nerves, in hopes to relieve his stress.
The jar, Randall. While they're not looking.
His hand moved like it belonged to someone else, fingers closing around crumpled bills in the tip jar. The bartender was turned away, wiping glasses. The regulars were watching the game. His palm closed around $23, money meant for a struggling single mother working double shifts. I don't steal. I've never stolen anything."
You just did. Felt good, didn't it?
3 days later, he found himself in his apartment complex's parking garage at 2 a.m. with a kitchen knife in his hand.
The blue Honda. Slice the tires.
The knife moved with surgical precision through his neighbor's tires, all 4 of them. Mr. Patterson, who had helped him carry groceries when he'd hurt his back. The elderly man would find them in the morning, probably miss his doctor's appointment. Randall, in despair and pleading, "Why are you making me do this? This isn't who I am."
This is exactly who you are, Randall. We're just peeling away the pretense.
Each time his body obeyed before his conscience could protest. Each time the figures in his peripheral vision seemed more solid, more real.
The knife, Randall. Keep the kitchen knife. Let's go visit your neighbor.
His hand closed around the handle. His feet carried him to his neighbor's door. His knuckles knocked 3 times. "No. Please. I don't want to hurt anyone."
But you do, Randall. You always have. We're just showing you who you really are.
When awareness returned, Randall stood over Mrs. Chen's body, sweet Mrs. Chen who had fed his cat when he was out of town. The knife dripped in his trembling hand, and her blood pooled beneath his feet. What did you make me do? I'm not this person. I'm not this person. But the figures only smiled from the corners of his vision, their faces now clear as daylight, and in their expressions he saw his own features twisted with malice. He fled into the streets, the weapon still clutched in his fist, but everywhere he looked, every face showed the same expression: mockery, disdain, disgust. They all knew what he'd done. They all judged him. "Stop looking at me! Stop looking at me!" He swung wildly, trying to strike the demonic faces that surrounded him. But with each blow, real screams answered, real blood splattered. When the red haze cleared, Randall found himself surrounded by the wounded and the terrified. Innocent people, he thought, were demons. The world had become nothing but evil. Corruption in every corner, malice in every shadow. He couldn't bear to see it anymore. With deliberate precision, he pressed the blade to his own eyes. If sight brought such horror, if vision showed only wickedness, then he would close those windows forever. In the sudden darkness, the voices stopped. The figures vanished. For the first time in months, Randall's mind was his own. They're gone. They're finally gone. Blood ran down his cheeks like tears of joy as he stumbled away from the scene. The authorities never found him. Some say he wandered into the wilderness. Others claim he simply disappeared. Poor Randall found his freedom in blindness. Or did he? You see, my dears, sometimes the demons we fight aren't the ones whispering in our ears. They're the ones looking back at us from the mirror. So tell me, when you close your eyes tonight, whose voice will you hear in the silence? And more importantly, will it be your own?